The next question we have is from Tara, and Tara has said thank you for a very interesting session. So that's great. I'm glad you think so, Tara. She's asked if the panelists have any insight on how this will impact secondhand or alternative forms of consumption, for example, flea markets, charity stores, crafts or vintage markets. And by this, I mean, I suppose the impact of lockdown, how that might change those alternatives.
I touched on that, Natasha. I mean, for me, it's not so much that this period of time is changing our mindset. We were already on a journey towards, I think, not all of us, but many consumers are already on, have already got heightened awareness of obviously the issues in relation to the planet, global warming, sustainability, and the impact of our behaviour on that. From how many times we get on a plane to the products that we buy. And I think that move towards conscious consumption has already started and has already been gathering pace. And of course, if you think about the things that were really in the news over the last year, from Greta Thunberg and the Extinction Rebellion and all the continual kind of movement towards that has really created that awareness to the point where now as consumers, I think we're much more aware of our own carbon footprint and what our impact is of what we do basically on the environment. So I think that journey had already started. I think what's happened during lockdown, and I could see this from the research that we undertook of, as I say, just under 2,000 consumers, is there's no question that consumers have been buying less during this period. And you'll have seen lots of jokes on social media about the fact that, we've been wearing the same jeans for 5 days running and, the same t-shirt. And, I think we've all been guilty of that. I just like to put it out there, but I've been changing my underwear every day. Too much information. Sure.
But
I think we've all become accustomed to, when you're out there and when you're back out in the real world, if you like, and you're going into a physical environment to work every day, there's kind of more pressure on you in terms of how you look and how you feel in terms of what you're wearing and everything else. Whereas when you're working from home, there isn't. So fundamentally, I think that will have an impact.
I agree with Martin. We've seen 5 years worth of growth in 5 months. We might settle back down, but it's definitely going to be higher at where it was. But when I think about the independent traders right through to market store holders, I mean, I've been looking at this space for 22, 23 years now. I remember maybe 10 or so years ago when the likes of Square and Izettle and so on started to come out and target small independent traders. So that when you're on a market store and you get maybe potentially a large percentage of tourists, you don't have to send them to a cash machine because half of them never come back. So in the sense of we're on that journey that Martin was saying, that's only been accelerated. I think small and independent businesses are being pushed to digitize their businesses, even as much as bigger ones are. To that point, it's going to play to them that we are living more locally. I think we've seen leisure and hospitality businesses really pivot very well towards online ordering, local pubs doing deliveries of food, for example. But again, when they reopen, they're going to need to look at how to establish those connections and how they've made those connections through websites and apps and local Facebook communities, for example, back into their store to make that useful. And the final point I'd make is that if the independents are going to do really, really well, all the economic forecasts is that the big guys are getting even bigger. This online grocery surge, it's split between the big four, the big five. Walmart won 50% of all new online grocery customers in the US last month. So I think the warning there is that if you're in the middle, you're not a brand with a purpose, you're not focused on building customer connections, you're in trouble. But those independent guys really need to accelerate their digital transformation, and the bigger guys really, really need to look at doing that in a much joined up and consistent way.